Ladies and gentlemen, it is about time we finally show you guys the NBA 2K26 My Player Builder, and I'm not going to waste any time. We are going to go straight into it. I am about to show you guys the best ISO build with this 6'8" absolute demi that can do whatever you want it to. And you see, for this build video, I could be that guy that will just slowly reveal attribute by attribute and spread it across the entire video just to extend my watch time. But I'm not going to do that to you guys. I'm just going to show you the build right away. So the least you guys can do for me doing you such a favor is to drop a like and subscribe. It is absolutely free. But anyway, what is good, y'all? This is the NBA 2K26 My Player Builder, and as you guys can see here, we've gone with a power forward. I'm going to explain to you guys why later. 6'8" for the height, like I said, 210 pounds for the weight, and a wingspan of 6'11". And while we are on this page right here, just pay quick attention to all of these caps right here. It is important to remember that every single cap bracket that you intend to put on your My Player must fit within these cap limitations. So our 3-point, for example, is at an 86. If I choose to max that out to an 86, I cannot put any more cap breakers on that attribute. Plain and simple. But anyway, let us carry on. Okay, so like I said, no wasting time. This is our 6'8" demigod ISO build right here. And like I said, look at this thing, bro. It can do everything. There are practically no flaws with this build, and when I say that, I really mean it. We're going to break down every single attribute shortly. Also, forgive me for my voice. I'm sorry. I'm still sick coming back from community day. I've had no rest. So starting with our driving dunk, as you guys can see right here, we have a 93. Any good ISO build out there has to have a really high driving dunk. Initially, I actually wanted to go for a 96, as you guys can see right there at the bottom. That is a requirement for Hall of Fame posterizer. But if I was to do that, it would have limited one of my other attributes, and I just did not want to do that. But to be honest with you, a 93 is still a very high driving dunk to have alongside our 82 vertical. Like, if we really wanted to, we are not that far from cap breaking both our driving dunk and our vertical to get that Hall of Fame posterizer. But honestly, even if you didn't, this is definitely sufficient enough, and I'm going to show you guys why. You still get practically every single dunk animation in the game. You also get pro contact dunks off one, which only requires a 89 driving dunk and a 78 vertical. Something you can also consider for this build. Remember, when making this build, you don't have to follow every single attribute like one by one. Use this video more as like a guide for you to use as a base if you wish. You can obviously tweak things as you go depending on your own preference. But just know, for my version of the build, I have fully optimized it. I took a very long time making every single one of my builds, and I made sure they were all fully optimized. You guys will see why. As you guys can see right here, for elite contact dunks off 2, you need a 96 driving dunk, which I was just talking about before, and an 82 vertical, which this build actually has, but when I showed the animation, it was still only at an 80 because I haven't used all my caps yet. And speaking of our vertical, here I've put it to 82, and as you guys can see right here, it also gives me gold pogo stick, and I only need one more vertical to get that to an 83, which will also give me Hall of Fame. And having this vertical also allows us to have bronze high flying denier, which will help us with our block attempts. But more importantly, with that 82 vertical, like I said before, we only need to cap break our driving dunk plus 3, and we get elite contact dunks off 2. And if you guys were curious, the requirement for elite contact dunks off 1 is a 99 driving dunk and a 90 vertical. Obviously a little bit too overkill. That will just affect this whole build completely. You're better off making a pure slasher build if you're someone that wants this. Moving on to our standing dunk, as you guys can see right here, I bumped this all the way to a 72 for a reason, because that is when I get this badge right here, bronze rise up, which will increase the likelihood of dunking or posterizing my opponent when standing in the painted area. Another very important thing to have on ISO builds, especially on a 6'8", whenever you're not getting those driving dunk animations that you want. Sometimes you want to get bailed out by a safe standing dunk, and this bronze rise up badge will definitely help. That 72 standing dunk will also allow you to unlock all the animations that you need. Moving on to our shooting, starting with our 3-point shot. As you guys can see right here, we have an 85, and as soon as I put that to an 85, that is when you get silver deadeye. This is the absolute max that I would want to put my 3 on. I mean, our cap is at an 86, but 86, 85, not really much of a difference. And you also need an 87 for shifty shooter. One important thing about shifty shooter, it is not tied in with agility anymore. Before, if you didn't know, shifty shooter's requirements were tied in with both 3-point shot or mid-range and your agility, but in 2K26 it is purely just based off your midi or your 3. But in saying that, I don't really feel the need for that badge. I feel like I'm good having bronze. We still have silver set shot and silver deadeye anyway, and an 85 is more than enough for a 6'8" ISO build to be able to consistently hit 3s. You will also get to unlock majority of the jump shot animations that you want. I bumped up the mid-range to a 75. I think the minimum for having a 85 3-point was like a 74, but I had an extra point and I thought 75 mid-range. Moving on to our ball handle, we have an 86. As you guys can see right here, as soon as I bump that up, we have Ankle Assassin unlocked on silver, and we have also reached our maximum cap for ball handle. We get silver unpluckable and silver handles for days as well. And then for pass accuracy with that 76, as you guys can see right there, we get to silver, versatile, visionary, silver break starter, and silver diamond. It is still very important to have a somewhat decent pass ac if you're on an ISO build. And even if it wasn't for me optimizing this build and getting that extra badge, I definitely would not go anywhere below 70 for this. And our last playmaking attribute, 75 speed with ball, allows us to get silver lightning launch. And as you guys can see right here, these are some of the dribble styles that you will get with a 75. Plenty of good ones that we can definitely still use. 75 speed with ball with that 86 ball handle will still give you more than enough animations that you need on a 6'8" ISO build, as you guys can see right here. So for both steal and perimeter defense, we have gone with 85 for both. This gives us gold interceptor and silver glove, silver challenger, silver onboard menace, silver pick dodger, and gold off-ball pest. Block gives us 75, which once again gives us bronze high flying denier with our vertical, and bronze paint patroller as well. And interior defense, the highest I could get this to was a 61. One alternative for this build though, you can get this block to a 77. If you take away 2 from your vertical and put that into your block, you are now only 1 cap breaker away from getting that silver high flying deny badge. But in my honest opinion, I don't think it's worth going just for a silver high flying deny badge. I'd rather get the contact dunks with that 82 vertical and that 96 driving dunk that I know I'll get in the future. For rebounding, I went with a 70 offensive rebound and a 55 defensive rebound, which honestly isn't too terrible. We get silver box out beast and bronze rebound chaser. And now with our physical, starting with strength, I didn't really want to touch this at all. I wanted to keep this at a minimum. I know a lot of people with big ISO builds want to put their strength up a little bit, but in doing so, you will have to sacrifice something. I mean, you could easily lower your finishing if you wanted to, if you didn't care about those contact dunks. Maybe lower your 3 to like an 80 and then see if you can put your strength up a bit. For my specific playstyle though, I know that I'm going to really utilize that 85-3. So I did not want to touch that. I don't want to touch my defense. I don't want to touch any of the playmaking. And I also want those contacts. So in all honesty, this is actually where I sacrificed a lot of my attributes. But if you only have a 53 strength, then why are you going with 210 pounds? Isn't that unnecessary? No, it is not. So the purpose of me having 210 pounds is that cap for strength is a lot higher. If I was to lower my weight, that strength cap is a lot lower. And remember how cap breakers work this year. Whichever attributes are low, every time you spend a cap breaker on them, it increases it by a lot more. I'm not just going to spend 1 cap breaker on it and get that from a 53 to a 54. I'm going to bring up this example right here. So this is just a random build, but the strength is around a 50 as well. So as you guys can see right there, 1 cap breaker can get that +8, and then another one +7. And then another one +6. So if I was to spend 3 cap breakers and my strength was at a 52, I would then get that to a 73. And if I go back to this build, all of a sudden, we would actually unlock strong handle, physical finisher, and movable enforcer, brick wall. We would actually end up getting all of these badges. So basically that 210 pounds there is a safety net in a way. The main focus for a lot of these builds that I'm making this year is that I want them to really last throughout the entire year. I don't want to make like a day 1 build and then I just don't use it and like I scrap it within like the first 2 weeks. Because in reality, this new cap breaker system that we have actually allows us to plan for the future. So it is important that you consider all of those things when making your day 1 build, because obviously you want your build to last. Maxing out a build costs a lot of VC, and more importantly, you want it to be versatile as well, so you can change and adapt the build as you unlock cap breakers throughout the year. Moving on to agility, we have a 77, which allows us to get that gold, slippery off ball, silver pick dodger, silver onboard menace. I'm pretty sure the minimum I could have was a 76. And then I bumped it up to 77 just to get that gold slippery off ball badge. And then finally for speed, we have an 85. So our speed actually ties in closely with our ball handle. So we have an 86 ball handle, 85 speed. And now we can see what our build is called. Shades of Kawhi, Sean Marion, Jason Tatum. And our archetype is a 2-way stretch slasher. Honestly, a pretty tough name. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to pause it right there. Top attributes, driving dunk, ball handle, 3-point shot. And what are our weaknesses? Lacks imposing physicality, doesn't anticipate opponent camera. What? I don't even know what that means. Anyway, 2-way stretch slasher, pretty unique name. But anyway, the point, I said this before, the point of having a power forward. Okay, so this right here is basically the exact same build, but I've just made it into a small forward. I did change a few things, as you guys can see right there. I reduced my block and my interior defense by 1. Up my rebounding by 1, and managed to actually up my vertical by 1 as well. A little bit less post control, which doesn't really matter. So if you prefer going for an 83 vertical, you also can. Like I said before, it is completely up to you if you want to tweak the build up a little bit. There are probably so many different combinations. Just use my build as a base. But as you guys can see right here, small forward gives me a two-way 3-point slasher. Not really an exciting name like the first one that we had. But anyway, there you guys have it. That is my 6'8" Demi ISO build. I think this will be the best height for ISO builds, although I will still make other ISO build videos as well. I've got a 6'7" and a 6'6" as well on the way, which I'm both very excited to show you, and that'll be, you know, in contrast, somewhat different to this 6'8". But anyway, take care of yourselves. Thank you guys so much for coming through, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.